Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're looking at the Naboo Starfighter from the Mandalorian. So this is the Mandalorian second ship, and um, we don't actually have a Mandalorian on here. Now I don't know if it's one of those things that I just didn't have the Mandalorian himself on here, because I should have had a Mandalorian on here, and I usually try to keep all the figures together. Um, and again, like I said yesterday, it's one of those things of I don't know why I don't have a video of this up, because I could have swore I did a video. But we're going to kind of go through this all over again. So the figures that I know we have, and I want to say there should have been a Mandalorian with this as well, but unfortunately I'm not finding a Mandalorian. But we do have the young lady, and I don't remember her name offhand. Of course I'm dealing with, I just can't remember her name. This is the young lady that the Mandalorian had gone to the starport to try and get a ship fixed, or try to get a new ship, and she's the one that got him the Naboo Starfighter. So it's her and her group of droids that we had gotten. Now this is a little Easter egg to me, because this is BD1. So if you remember playing what would be Jedi Survivor, I'm trying to remember if Jedi Survivor was the first one or if that's the second one. Anyways, but you had Cal Cassius, and he had BD1. So here we have a Lego version of BD1. Kind of like the little droid. I thought it was a nice little addition that they had done in the game, where, I guess when I'm looking at small droids like this, kind of like the BB series, you could still have these as like astromech droids. They hold like one or two astrogation points or whatever in their memory banks or whatever. Of course, someone like this, because all he's got is these little legs, and he kind of keeps perching himself on the back of Cassius, or he could do that with this young lady here. Nice, cute character, lovable. Can kind of get into a couple little bits of trouble here and there, and a little helpful, but not too overly powered, or all the things that we saw R2 do. When I think of Star Wars, I usually think of R2-D2 and 3PO, and R2-D2 really was a fully fleshed character of his own, if he really wanted to, and we really do see it in like the Clone Wars. I mean, he could do almost anything a normal person could do. So we do have a nice little figure of him, and of course then we got Grogu again. So everybody loves Grogu. Nice lovable character. All the mystery that surrounds him and the race of what Yoda and Grogu are, and Yodel. I believe Yodel was the female of that same race that they had. Now when we look at the ship itself, there are a couple little differences from what we had actually gotten from the original Naboo Starfighter. It wasn't just a recolor and just a minor little change. This ship is actually elongated here. First of all, we actually have like an engine, kind of like an old supercharger on the old cars. And this actually, and I'm not a big fan of doing these, but it was already in there, and I shot it myself. We do have a little shooter, so if I push down on this, it will shoot. So I will shoot at the box, and it's there. All right, so that's the one shoot I will do. So we do have an actual shooter. That would be your torpedo launcher underneath there. We have some beefed up cannons on the top. When we come back here, and I was trying to remember exactly how that came off, we do have a actual holding spot. So whether you wanted to use that to put a person in carbonite, or if you just wanted to throw like an extra weapon or something in there, you could do that as well. I believe that they had done that for putting a carbonite prisoner in there, but we did not get one in the build. And then, of course, I had it nice and flush in there, and then when I'm trying to figure it out, I was like, God, I know this comes up, but I just could not remember exactly how that went. So when we actually look on the inside here, this is done a little differently than what we had originally gotten with the old Naboo Starfighters. And when I'm thinking about that, I think that they had come out with a reissue of it. We did not get, the one I got was the original one, not even a reissue. So, I can't say exactly what they did on the reissue, but we got a nice sticker on the disc here that give us a nice readout and displays and all that stuff. And a nice brown look for the leather. So that works really nice. And of course, because we don't have a droid in here, we have Grogu in here. So we have our little pod here for Grogu. And this kind of comes out into a elongated spine. And this has a very kind of, to me, like a sharkish look to it. The original Naboo Starfighter, if you remember, and as I dropped the engine because I futzing around with it, we only had the 2 engines. And this actually plugged in to a base so it could actually charge up. This was a kind of electric vehicle in a lot of regards. So it would actually plug into the plasma conduit and it would stay charged. And then when they needed it, they could take it out and fly around. The Naboo Starfighter was really just a defense force fighter. It was not a very high-powered fighter or anything else. And it was really just meant for a local defense force. So it really worked well for what it was intended for. Naboo was a very peaceful planet, was not trying to be any big military conqueror, just trying to defend its plasma exports, which is what it was really trying to do. So it has a very sleek design. When we look underneath, we do have that 3rd engine, and if you watch the show and you're a big fan of the show, you remember he would have hit a boost, and I think that's what this engine kind of does. It gives it an extra boost. These engine modules are pretty close to what the original ones were, although you do see that we have some extra parts on the side as well on the top, so they're a little bit more souped up than what they were initially designed to be. And of course then we have what looks like like a bigger intake, and maybe even like a 4-barrel for an older engine car. I'm thinking like a 454 with a 4-barrel, and then you'd have a bigger air intake on there to try and supply good air for all the fuel. So I'm going to guess that with this version of it being elongated and being a totally different type of ship, this is going to use probably I think they would call it the Tabana gas instead of using an electrical or a plasma charge. So they probably hauled out all the batteries and then gave it all the Tibetan gas tanks that they would need in order for this to fly. So, when we look over, this is a deeper section than the original one that I remember. I think we only came down about the 1 brick instead of 2. So this is a little bit deeper than what the original one was. And I think it comes up just a little bit more. Maybe I'm wrong. It's been a while since I've had the old one together, and unfortunately I never kept the booklet, so I don't know where the parts all are or anything else. So to be able to have the 2 of them together side by side would be wonderful. I just don't have that available. But it is nice to be able to see that they destroyed his 1 ship, they gave him another one. So we do have his 2nd ship, and it is a very sleek, and like I said, in some regards almost like a shark-ish design, like a hammerhead with the engine sitting out here. Very sleek, very kind of like it's meant to race and chase after people. More of a dedicated fighter than what he had before. He had an assault ship before, but now he's got a dedicated fighter, a little elongated, so we can still get at least 1 prisoner in here. So when he gets on to his other adventures, he'll be able to take Grogu, put him in the back here, together as like a father and son type duel. They should be able to go and try and get whatever bounties they need to get and turn them in. It's just that he's not going to be able to collect a lot of extra bounties. He's only going to be able to get one at a time instead of racking up maybe like 3 or 4. So, but it does give him that option. Now we'll have to see where they set him in another season, what they have him doing. Maybe he's still going to use this. Maybe he keeps this one around for Grogu to use later, and maybe he's going to want another bigger ship. Time will tell. Being a fan of the series, if and when they come out with the next chapter of it, I'd be willing to watch it. I know that the Bad Batch is coming up here shortly. That's the 21st of February. And if Disney does it the way that they've been doing it, you'll get one per week. So kind of like, what I grew up with. You'd have to stay tuned and turn in for the next week so you can see the next episode instead of getting everything released all at once like Netflix had started doing, and then likely so a lot of the other companies as well. Time will tell. We'll have to see what directions they go, but this is a very slick fighter. I think you might still be able to pick this up in some places. I don't remember what the cost of this one was. It was significantly less, I believe, than what the Razor Crest was. So with that, I want to say thank you so very much for joining me, for sitting around a pool table and seeing what kind of silliness we come up with for the day. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video.